3N8. And this is a very rare event that happened, and I'm always curious about rare events because I don't believe anything happens by mistake. But what happened was they're saying it's a type of adaptive evolution. The entire genetic sequence of the horse flu has managed to travel to the canines. So horses that were on a track in Florida that had been sprayed with a vaccine up their nose were able to then transmit the entire genetic sequence of that influenza to the greyhounds that were on the track. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. So
now, obviously, wait, I just want to say, obviously they knew that the same dogs were using the tracks as the horses.
Yes, and they're athletes, and they're going to be more, just like our primed-up soldiers that go to war, they're going to be more at risk, I think, for this kind of an event that they're planning with the use of these vaccines.
Because they're taking a deep breath, because they're running at full speed, and they're breathing the virus right in. And before I bring Dr. Jordan back on, I just want to say I'm getting a message from Drew Rains of Marine Disquisition. Patrick Jordan and I are on his show every Friday night. He's telling me that he's working on proper setup and cover sheets for the United States District Court, complete with those who can file in forma pauperis, which means you don't have enough money to pay their ridiculous fees. He's getting ready to file in the United States District Court in Arkansas within the next few weeks. And he also tells me that all these papers will be ready within 2 weeks for proper filing in any district court, state court, or just filing in a local civil court, complete with cover letters for the sheriffs, marshals, and county parish governments. So thank you so much to Drew Rains for his important contribution. And also he's telling me that he's finally being able now to file many different documents that Patrick and I have been talking about, including the WHO memos. You all have to read these, folks. Even if you don't have a science background, you will be able to smell an obvious rat when you read these documents. Also, in regards to one of the commercials that just played, where they mentioned the word revolution, folks, I don't plan to just lay down and die, but I encourage you all to watch a very important show that's now on the History Channel on Tuesdays. That's Impossible, where they're basically showing us all the weapons that they've developed, where they can be incognito, they can be standing right in front of you and you can't see them, the different microwave weapons, the frequencies that they can use. Folks, you can't fight these minions with a gun. As a matter of fact, if you fight them with a gun, that will give them an excuse to put us into martial law. We have to fight them with truth. We have to shine a light on these cockroaches to make them go and hide under the rock from whence they came. And that is my opinion. I'm just letting you know my opinion. I think that's a very important thing you have to realize. Keeping your powder dry is one thing, but I don't think your powder is going to help you when they roll in their microwave tanks and start beaming high-level frequencies that make you start bleeding out of your ears. And you may want to watch the movie Push, because that's another good one that's out now that I just watched last night, that they're basically showing us what they're capable of. We need to fight them with truth. Okay, Dr. Jordan, please continue with your very important information.
Okay, after I had communicated the charges with Jane about the World Health Organization and discussed with her Dr. Mark Yard's charges for criminal investigation of the World Health Organization, she supplied to me also that there was additional groups, some scientists in Germany and some German veterinarians that had seen this issue also with the World Health Organization using the vaccine program and the issue of animal health problems to be able to cause problems in the people. So there's a paper trail of this. Now, what they're doing with this canine influenza flu vaccine, this is not a big problem for them to actually start advocating them to sell it to everybody. But what I see happening with this is that this is from the very site on the USDA. The product was licensed for use under normal conditions, whatever that is. I have no idea, because this is something that's so rare right now. It would only be in cases where you had boarding kennels, where you had pet shops, where you had adoption centers, where you had a multiple grouping of animals. And the worst place that they said, the most likely place that you would catch, your dog would catch the canine flu would be actually at the veterinary office itself, because that's where you're going to be mixing dogs that are having a vaccine administration and dogs that are sick and would actually express the disease. They do say on the USDA site that this vaccine is hoped to reduce the incidence and severity of the lung lesions and the duration of coughing. However, there still will be viral shedding. So even though this is an injectable vaccine, even though they're saying it's killed, we know that that stuff never means anything. It's still, once the virus is inoculated into your body, you're just like a walking test tube. So there's going to be a lot of animals that are going to be trying to have this pushed onto these dogs, and it's a highly contagious respiratory disease, yes, but the only problems that they're going to have with the animals catching this is because they're actually using the vaccine itself. Now, I want everybody to, if they can, access a paper on the Internet. It's called How a Cornell's Team Study of Horses is Providing Insights into a Predicted Human Flu Pandemic. And on this, it's at www.vet.cornell.edu news articles.
Wait, please, you got to say that slower, please.
www.vet.cornell.edu/news/articles, and then it'll be 08 equine pandemic.htm. Okay. Now, everything on this tells me, and it tells you, and it backs up the information from Patricia Jordan of what WHO already knows, and this particular viral combination is very, very provocative, and they are looking for it to cause the pandemic. So if you take the H5N1 and the H3N2 that they have already put into the seasonal flu vaccines that are going to be administered to people all over the world, you realize that this canine vaccine is the H3N8, okay? And this is the kicker. This is the very important thing to realize. Mutations are coming out of these recombinations easily to the point where they had the entire genomic sequence jump from the horse to the dog. We are
wait, I hear the music, so we're going to break. Of course, because, yes, your pooch is going to be licking you, and then he's going to be giving you the H3N8 to add to the other ones you mentioned, and then the virus hunters are going to come to your autopsy to get a piece of that action. Because that's how these minions work, folks. And I just want to also get as much info into the show as possible, because this show's going viral, folks. You got to send this out to everybody you know. You also need to check my website within the next week. I did a show last week out of Jamaica where I debated one of their minions who is promoting a new vaccine for HPV virus called Cervarix, and it has a new adjuvant called monophospholipid A, which activates T cells. This is another experimental adjuvant they're creating to cause cytokine storms, and you got to hear that show. It is hysterical. She could not answer any of my questions. For some reason, the only white coats I can get to talk to me are from Jamaica. I guess because they're too ignorant to do a website search on me and find out who I am before they agree to come on. But before I bring Dr. Jordan on, I just want to also tell you another little factoid. Obama has actually appointed Dr. Francis Collins, who is one of the individuals, he helped to map the human genome. He is going to be nominated to head the National Institutes of Health. And this is a very scary thing, folks. They get $30 billion a year for their quote-unquote research. And I have sent Dr. Jordan and Patricia Jordan both just 1 year's documents that I have of one of their projects, which is a special virus cancer program, which is how they're making viruses to cause cancer, which is what Dr. Boyd Graves was investigating, which is why he is now dead. So, folks, it's getting very obvious, and that's just another little thing I wanted to put in there. Okay, Dr. Jordan, please go ahead. We have a couple callers on the line. I would like to bring them up, but I want you to be able to finish what you wanted to.
Yeah, I need to finish this. This is more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in that article, I would like everyone to access about the equine pandemic, because this is important to understand how these viruses and these strains get mixed together and are able to transmit. That equine pandemic paper is mainly about, it's called the H7 serotype, which outperforms all other serotypes in its lethal power. This study is supported by a 7-year $1 million